Father Frazer Mascarenhas, जो कि पैरिश प्रीस्ट एट सेंट पीटर्स चर्च बांद्रा है और एक एजुकेशनिस्ट भी है और एक सोशल एक्टिविस्ट भी है। मैं उनको विनती करता हूँ कि वो अपने ख्यालात आपके सामने रखें।
I will make a change and I'll speak in English because I would like to express very carefully on these very important issues facing the country. I'm here speaking, first of all, as a relative, a family member of somebody who has been accused of being a terrorist under the UAPA, very similar to that of the sedition law. And you all know that Father Stan Swami, who has been working for so many years with the tribals, was accused under the UAPA. He was jailed in the Loja jail very close to us, and he was treated very badly, and because of that he died in custody. So this is the first issue that I'd like to speak on, because I'm a family member and therefore I'm personally affected by such laws as that of sedition and the UAPA. I do think, of course, the legality has been talked about, but I do think that all of us should be concerned about a law like sedition and the UAPA, because anyone in power can accuse anyone of sedition or of terrorism and keep them in jail for years on end. I think we know that UAPA and sedition law accused are released on bail after 8, 10, 12 years, and no hearings even have been done. The case has not been heard. Now, is this a civilized law that can keep people in jail just from an accusation? I cannot imagine that such a thing is happening. And it has been happening, my friends, for several years. So it's not just any particular government or any political party. But I think of late what has happened is that people of great social standing, people who are lawyers, who are professors, who are human rights activists, these people of very high standing and with no background in terrorism or anti-national activities, these people have been kept for years in jail. Their freedom has been curtailed, and they are being kept in very, very horrible conditions, not human conditions. We all know about Father Stan Swami. Even a sipper was denied to him for months until the court finally said it's his right. Now we are having the similar things happening to others, and they are asking for a pair of specs, they are asking for a mosquito net, they are asking for a book to read. What type of treatment is this of people who are accused under the UAPA or under the Sedition Act? And so it's really a total denial of democracy and of human rights that is going on in our country. And perhaps the fact that so many people of high social standing are being accused and jailed, that might be advantageous, because now the law will be questioned. What Father Stan Swami was doing was he was fighting in a court of law in the High Court in Jharkhand for tribals who almost nobody cares for, whether they are in jail, not in jail. Hardly any notice is given to their plight. But now, yes, with professors and with lawyers in jail on these laws, I do hope that they will be reconsidered and thrown out of the law books, because they are totally unconstitutional in my judgment, in my opinion, and definitely goes against the human rights of the persons concerned. I'd like to also now speak as a social scientist, because I have a PhD in sociology, and my subject of study for my PhD, for my doctorate, was precisely tribal culture. I studied a tribe in North Maharashtra, Dhule district. The tribe's name is the Pauras, and they are under the Scheduled Tribes Act, or under the schedule in the Constitution. Now, my friends, I studied the religion of the tribals, and I find that the religion of the tribals is really an elevating religion, making them more human, which is what being divine is about. It's about discovering deep down within us our humanity, our common humanity as human beings. Now, among the first religions in our country is the religion of the indigenous people, the tribals. And so, if you go back now to what happened to the tribal symbols, the tribal shrines, if we go back to that, you will realize that we are really uprooting every inch of territory of India, because that is what the tribal religion was about. It was about their land, their forests, they had sacred groves. All that was destroyed by people who came after. However, those ages have long passed. We have long now, a long time ago, we have realized that all these religions are valid ways to go to the divine. And therefore, we cannot keep on going back in history and talking about who destroyed whose shrine. We cannot go back in that. We have reached a stage in which we respect now every religious tradition and every religious shrine, including the sacred groves of the tribals. And therefore, what we need to do is preserve and encourage what we already have, not going back searching to see on which shrine another has been built, and now go back to the status quo of hundreds and thousands of years ago. It is absolute, unreasonableness that has taken hold of our nation. And so, as a social scientist, I would appeal that we get back to reason, and we get back to recognizing and respecting every religious tradition and helping it to help us to get a religious experience. So with these words, both as a family member of someone who has been affected by the law and as a social scientist, I do think that these two cases that have come up in the Supreme Court really need to be judiciously decided upon, and human rights of all concerned have to be taken into account. Thank you. God bless.